For me, the ADMA's energy spirit of service means that while I'm serving on active duty at Fort Benning, Georgia, my co-workers in Madisonville, Kentucky are taking care of my family. They've mowed my yard. They've assisted in numerous ways. The company even allowed me to bring my laptop and my cell phone so that I might stay in better touch with the folks at home. And by the way, guys, don't be driving that new truck too much. I will be checking the mileage.
Imagine a world with children playing, a world of constant happiness, a world without disaster, a world without hunger, a world with an abundance of water and food. If you can imagine such a world, it is an illusion. The reality is that disasters happen every day. And though water is plentiful here, it is often in short supply in other parts of the world. Although food is abundant here, some countries suffer from regular seasons of drought and famine. 25% of the world has no clean source of water. 15% of the people in our world go to bed hungry on most nights. For many, the primary task of each day is survival.
You've seen the suffering. Is it possible to bring hope to people who suffer? At Healing Hands International, we dare to imagine a strategy that relieves suffering and at the same time opens hearts to the message of Jesus.
Healing Hands has a history of providing international relief for disaster victims. An earthquake in Indonesia, a flood in India, a hurricane in the Caribbean, a devastating tsunami affecting many countries. Healing Hands is ready to respond. Our 28,000 square foot warehouse is used as a staging area to provide medical aid and disaster assistance across the world. On average, our dedicated staff and volunteers send out a shipment every 9 working days to countries around the world. Church leaders worldwide help to strategically locate need and distribute aid. Following a disaster, Healing Hands is involved in intermediate and long-term recovery efforts, such as building clinics and schools, assisting orphanages, repairing housing, and in some cases, providing the tools necessary for livelihood. Water is our most precious commodity. Without it, none of us could survive. So it may surprise you to learn that more than 1 billion people in our world do not share this luxury. Some will walk an average of 3.5 miles to fill containers for the day from a water source shared by animals large and small. Partnering with ministries supported by Churches of Christ, Healing Hands has assisted with 150 producing water wells, which provide clean water for more than 700,000 people. With your help, we will drill 180 more wells in the next 3 years.
In some parts of the world, life expectancy is less than 40 years because of a lack of clean water. At Healing Hands International, we dare to imagine when hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of lives will be saved through the compassion of people like you.
Medical equipment is always in short supply in developing countries. Imagine a child in need of surgery, but the procedure cannot be performed because the medical equipment is not available. Healing Hands International has distributed burn beds to Romania, ambulances to Cuba, and even a complete mobile clinic to India.
There's a worldwide shortage of life-saving medical supplies, the kind that are thrown away every day in this country. At Healing Hands International, we imagine a time when hospitals and pharmacies and individuals around the country will donate what is needed to save lives.
In some places, dry, parched land seems to make living simply unbearable and impending death inevitable. If there were just enough water to grow food and just enough food to sustain life. In many countries threatened regularly by drought and famine, millions will die of malnutrition. Through affiliation with USAID, Healing Hands International and Churches of Christ have provided more than 18 million meals to those who are in need. But is that enough? Especially since many will suffer the same condition with the next drought, and the next, and the next. At Healing Hands, we believe that the most effective way to fight famine for the long term is to empower people with the skills necessary to grow their own food. Using one drip irrigation kit at the cost of $15, an individual can learn to grow an entire survival garden that will feed a family of 7 through the dry seasons for many years.
Without water,
workshops such as these involve the training of local evangelists and church leaders.
in this country,
As these leaders return home, they are equipped to provide food for their own family and teach other families the same skills. And by teaching these life-saving tools, they are often also given the opportunity to teach the good news of Christ.
Have you ever really experienced hunger? At Healing Hands International, we believe that hunger and malnutrition is not only tragic, it's unacceptable. We dare to imagine a time when thousands upon thousands will have learned this long-term solution to drought and famine.
It is one thing to learn the condition of millions in our world. It is another thing to actually do something about it. For nearly 2 decades, we have provided aid valued at $60 million to more than 65 countries. With your help, this great work can continue. For the cost of one meal, you can provide tools to feed an entire family for 1 year. By providing one well, you can provide water for thousands of men, women, and children in need of clean water. Your gifts to Healing Hands will enable us to send immediate emergency aid for the next world disaster, or to provide the medical tools necessary to save someone's life. And fully 93% of every dollar contributed goes specifically to provide aid. You've seen the horrifying images, and you've often wondered, how can I help? Healing Hands International provides you with that opportunity. And at the same time, the opportunity to spread the good news of Christ to a lost world. Will you take advantage of this opportunity?